another blue card in quotation marks. 3 Moreland Haunt.
Very important card.
Yeah, that card is unbelievable.
And then in the sideboard, we're going to see Lean and Relic Warder, Arbiter, just a lot more bears, just a lot more efficient bears. So
Purge, Gideon, and O-Ring.
Should be interesting.
Mark Hinsz on your left, just playing super stock Wolf Run. Like a little variation with his Garrux. Got 2 main deck swords, which is a little out of the ordinary. But other than that, pretty much what we've just seen all day.
Yep, only 2 Wolf Run. It's about the only other variation I would see here. Sideboard Gut Shot, which will be really very good against Drew, I'm sure. And both players shuffling up for game 1. If you're just joining us now, we're in round 8 of Star City Games Open, Kansas City, day 1 of Standard. 8 of 9 rounds today.
Yep, 8 of 9 rounds. I'm Gavin Verhey here with Zach Call. I've been doing commentary for you, and it has been quite a good time.
Yeah.
I've been having a good time looking at all these decks. Seen a lot of Ramp and Solar Flare, but also just a bunch of really cool decks in the mix of that, too. So.
Yeah, and finally this token deck.
Yeah, we've been talking all day. Where are the tokens? Or where are the humans? Where are the tokens? This isn't so much a tokens deck. I mean, it doesn't even have Midnight Haunting, but it's just it is a blue-white. It is a blue-white kind of beatdown deck, which is what we were kind of looking for.
Right.
There's no Midnight Hauntings or anything like that.
Yeah, I would call it actually more human than token.
Yeah, it's blue-white humans. I mean, the only thing that makes tokens is Doom Traveler and Hero Bladehold, I guess.
Right.
And Moreland Haunt, sure. But.
So it looks like Drew is content with his 7-card hand. Mark Hinsz going back for 6.
Yeah, Drew giving Mark the death stare / smile.
Death shuffle too.
Yeah, Drew's been busy with work, but he's able to make it to the last couple events, and he's certainly happy he's been able to.
Looks like Drew Levin 20th going into this round, so both definitely well in contention. Though we'll see how their tie breaks are.
I need 2 people for a competitive draft. I need 1 person for a commander pot, and I need 4 people for a legacy winner box.
So I might have to eat my words about 4 Wolf Run Ramp, especially if Drew wins this.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think that we'll see 2 Wolf Runs in the top 8, maybe 3. I think the over-under is 2.5. 4 is pretty ambitious.
We'll see. I'm still holding out hope here.
I mean, I'm not holding out hope for Wolf Run Ramp Dominant tournament. I would prefer if it did not.
So it looks like Mark has kept his 6.
Yep, and Drew is latest first land is off to the races. So planes for Drew Levin, but no Doomed Traveler.
No 1-drop. Surprising, as Drew plays 12.
Yep.
And Inkmoth next is go for Mark. And Drew follows up with a Grand Abolisher, which Mark has to read. Not too relevant against Wolf Run.
Yeah, Grand Abolisher does some things, but against this matchup, I guess it turns off Beast Within on your turn.
Turns off Beast Within, Kessig Wolf Run, and Nexus, but that is about it.
It doesn't turn off Nexus. You can still use
on their turn, right?
So you can still use lands.
Still lose lands.
It's actually you can. Yeah, it's really interesting. You can Tech Edge.
Ooh.
On. I learned that when I was playing against that card in Standard.
So Drew gets in for 2, brings Mark to 18. And we'll see what Drew follows it up with here. I imagine he has a creature of some sort.
Yeah, Grand Abolisher. During your turn, your opponent can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments.
Okay.
However,
Planeswalkers can still run rampant on your turn, I guess.
Yeah.
No creature for Drew. Wow.
Man, weak draw for Drew. I imagine he's going to jam this one Ari-Lax style and unload Hero Bladehold starting with the 4th turn.
Yeah, the only cards you could have here are Heroes and Mana Leaks, it seems like.
Yeah, and with so many cards in his hand, and lands, I guess. But. All right, there's a sword, a Feast and Famine.
Yep. We don't even need to say that one at this point. The only sword.
Yeah, the only one in Wolf Run Ramp is going to have main deck. Anyway.
So Drew thinking about the sword. Perhaps telegraphing a Mana Leak here.
I would Leak that if I was Drew. I think that sword is going to create a lot of advantage for Mark.
Yeah, just so many headaches, especially with the Nexus.
Now, if Drew had, especially with the Nexus too. If Drew had 2 Mana Leaks or only 1 Mana Leak, maybe you would want to save it for a Primeval Titan or something. But man, that sword is going to do damage. Serves in with the Grand Abolisher, and especially if he's planning to tap out for Hero, I would have just Mana Leak. There's a Hero Bladehold pass. I guess if your plan is let him do whatever he wants this turn, next turn have Mana Leak mana up, But the thing is, the sword's going to demolish your hand over time, so Mana Leak is less effective. You can't play the long game as well, but Hero kind of mitigates that.
Right. Drew only left with 4 cards. After the sword hit, it's going to be 3. So it'll be interesting to see what he can get together here. He has a small time window to do it before that sword just completely takes over this game.
Yep. All right, and down comes a land for Mark Hinsz.
A wolf run, it looks like. Important to note that Drew does have a Moorland Haunt over there.
Yeah, Moorland Haunt would allow him to interact with the Feast and Famine, but he doesn't have any creatures in his graveyard.
Right.
So. And I imagine he wants to leave mana up for other things or tap it for Hero.
So it looks like Mark's going to get in with the Nexus, equipped with the sword.
Yep, Nexus will bring Drew 3 poison, and he discards an island.
Nice Euro island right there.
Attention players, we're looking for Daniel Hall and Patrick Burns. Please come on down to the main
And
stage.
Mark taps out for Solemn Simulacrum.
And players.
All right, Solemn ramps himself up a little bit there.
For the evening.
On Drew's turn, do you think we're going to see another hero, or just holding up for Mana Leak?
You guys filled up, so come on down to the main event
I don't
stage.
know. I mean, we were
We'll
actually
be
talking to Ari about this
And
before.
side events are now
If
closed.
he
Thank
attacks
you all
with the
for
hero
coming
this
out
turn,
making this a
and then
great
attacks with
afternoon.
both heroes next turn,
We'll see
it's
you
over
tomorrow.
20 damage on the next attack.
Yeah, so there's no way
So-
he could even lose.
See what he does.
So just taps 2 for Honor of the Peer, and I think his last card is Mana Leak, so...
But that might not make the difference if he only has 1 card for Sword of Feast and Famine. We'll see.
Right, I mean, does he really want to pitch his other hero? I don't think he does.
I don't think so.
I would probably just jam that hero. What is the worst that could happen? If he casts Primeval Titan and gets two lands, I mean, whatever. I think he's still just dead on the next turn.
I think so, too.
Assuming his other card is hero. We saw that correctly, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's all speculative.
It might have not been.
He's keeping his cards face down here. Oh, Angelic Destiny, someone tweeted in that he has?
Oh, okay. It might have been Angelic Destiny.
That's interesting. Yeah, that seems worse than Honor the PR.
Still pretty reasonable on a
hero.
On a hero,
yeah. Not bad.
That's a good way to be a Titan. But I guess Mana Leak, Q and Mana Leak up is a little more reasonable now.
Sort of putting all your eggs in one basket there, too.
Yeah, exactly.
So Mark thinking about his blocks here. Might want to trade Solemn for a token. I don't see any reason not to.
I'm sure he just wants that card, right?
Right.
I mean, if the reason not to is if you put Sword on it, you can block hero next turn, but you're taking so much damage from other things. You know, he's going to have two more tokens at that point.
And an important thing to note about the Wolf Run ramp decks, they do not have any mass removal in their main deck. So the hero is so key against them.
Right.
Because those tokens are here to stay. And yeah, Drew with 3 cards in hand, so he could have a Mana Leak of Destiny and then a 3rd card that he'll pitch. Setting him up for a very good next turn.
Okay, so yeah, blocks token with the Solemn. Gonna pick up a card on the exchange.
Now Drew counting up the damage he's doing. Looks like 9 maybe? 10? 11. I can't count. 11 damage on that exchange, bringing Mark to 5. Mark's going to be hard-pressed to come back to this.
I think that's going to be
this.
I mean, untaps all of his lands. See what he can do, but hey, let's see if he plays Titan.
No, it's still not enough. That's still only 2 blockers.
Yeah, and yeah, that's lethal. Yeah, I think Mark is going to lose here. I mean, unless he's like equip, attack, play something before attacking to block.
That would do it.
I mean, I don't know if that would win Mark the game, but it would let him not die.
Certainly keep him alive.
Although it taps his birds.
I think that's another Sword of Feast and Famine poking in there.
That is.
So if he can somehow survive for one more turn after getting in with the Nexus, then maybe he can steal this game with a double equipped Nexus.
What's his other card? So he has Sword, Primeval Titan. What's one all the way to the left?
Those are the only 2 I can make out.
Yeah, I can't make out what his other card is. There might even be 2 cards side there. No, I think it's just 1 card. But I can't tell what it is.
No, definitely can't. Some sort of Acidic Slime could be okay here if he can somehow Green Sun that and play another card.
Alright, so he goes activate, equip, attack.
Yep.
Drew's gonna pitch in planes.
Doesn't need that extra land.
Untap everything.
And Mark's still mulling over his options, trying to figure out a way to get back into this game, to not lose to Drew's attack.
So he's got 2 Primeval Titans in his hand, okay. 5, 6, play a Titan. Or play an Acidic Slime, and Mana Leak.
And there it is.
And that is that. Yep. And so Mark Hinsz goes down. Blue-white humans, the deck that's been tearing up Magic Online. Drew piloting to the top. It looks like he was in 20th going into this round, I think, about there.
Yep.
So he's probably has to win his next 2 rounds if he to have a chance at top 8. But
Probably.
Drew certainly has the mindset to do it.
Well on his way with this match. And Hero of Bladehold, the card a lot of people have been cutting, not playing 4X of that card, has just been winning every match we've seen it in.
Do you know what the creature type on Hero of Bladehold's tokens are?
I believe
Don't look it up. I know the answer.
Human Soldier, I think.
They're only soldiers. They're
Really?
not humans.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's kind of silly.
They must have thought ahead on that one. They didn't want some kind of crazy human deck running rampant.
I just found that out. I was looking at a couple weeks ago at Hero. I was like, this is strange. Why doesn't it make human soldiers?
Seems like it would.
Just worth noting, it will not trigger Champion of the Parish when it
Okay,
attacks.
very good. So, sideboarding, Drew Levin has 4 Leonin Relic Warder, 4 Leonin Arbiter, 4 Celestial Purge, 2 Gideon, and 1 Oblivion Ring. So, what do you think Drew will be bringing in here?
I think, let's see.
Certainly not Relic Warder.
I mean, Arbiter for sure.
Yep.
He's going to bring all 4 of those Arbiters. Maybe the O-Ring if you feel so inclined. You might want to fight the Sword or something, Planeswalkers. But I think that's all he's going to want at most.
Probably 4 Arbiter, I agree with that.
Yeah, 4 Arbiter.
And then cards he might be taking out for that, probably none of his 1-drops. Those are probably too important. I think a strict swap of Abolisher for Arbiter might be the play here.
Abolisher does almost nothing in this matchup, and Leonin Arbiter is super effective.
Yeah. And it also keeps your curve at exactly the same, which is something I'm sure Drew's keeping in mind.
Yep, I agree.
Any aggro deck, that's going to be very important.
Let's see, from Mark Hinsz side, though, he's got Gutshot, Ancient Grudge, Thrun, Slime, Malira, so he does have one Malira. Not that's useful here, but Tree Redemption of Ring Corruptor and Batterskull. He does not have a lot of ammo for this matchup.
Not much. No, we should see the gut shots here. That's a really effective way of dealing with a Champion of the Parish or an Elite Vanguard early before they can become a problem.
The one Batterskull.
Yeah. But in terms of answers to Hero of Bladehold and Mirren Crusader, Mark does not have much. Could see a Thrun just to block. Not so sure about that one, though. Tree of Redemption, possibly? That could help stabilize.
Malira to trade with a 2-drop. Not a lot of options here for Mark Hinsz. I don't think he was expecting this matchup.
No, definitely not. I imagine we'll see him siding out something like a little bit of his top end here. Probably Beast Within. That card.
Does he want those swords?
Sword? It's not that effective against Drew, as we just saw.
Right.
He just shrugged off the discard.
Right, no protections. I mean, it's a discard versus an aggro deck.
Right. At the same time, though, Drew has no disruption to stop the sword from connecting.
Yeah, he can only mana link it on the way down.
Right. So I don't know. Sword could definitely be a cut. He could cut some of his Garriks, some of his Primal Hunters. Could be a little slow. But yeah, I expect him to cut Beast Within and Sword of Feast and Famine, perhaps Garrick, Primal Hunter.
Agreed. Yeah. Well, so not too much changing after sideboarding. I think Leonin Arbiter is the biggest wrinkle to this matchup. If Drew plays a turn to Arbiter, it's not unbeatable for the deck, but it slows it down by about a turn, which is pretty big. It makes Primeval Titan, much less effective when it comes down.
It affects, it seems like 12 spells in the deck. 4 Green Sun Zenith, 4 Rampant Growth, 4 Primeval Titan. And I guess marginally on Garrick Relentless there. But mostly the Titans. Yeah, that should be enough for Drew. One turn generally, all it takes for the aggro deck to outrace a deck like a Valakut deck or a Wolf Run deck. One of those style.
So Ryan Devlin asks on Twitter, did we think this is the best standard environment since Ravnica Time Spiral?
Wow.
He thinks it is. What do you think?
I think the format needs to develop a little more, but right now I don't think so. The games we've been seeing, it's all about going over the top of your opponent And that makes for some exciting Magic to watch, but in terms of playing, sometimes it can be a little frustrating. Because in terms of answers to Primeval Titan, there just aren't that many profitable ways to interact with it.
I think this format would be really good if it wasn't for Kessig Wolf Run decks. I mean,
Right.
it just feels like Valakut all over again, you know?
It does, yeah.
I mean, I think Solar Flare is even alright. Like, it's a 3-color control deck that's very beatable. Even Ravnica Time Spiral had that, right?
Right.
But, yeah, not big on the Wolf Run deck. I really was pretty sick and tired of Valakut, and this is essentially the same thing, more or less. Play Titan, untap, be victorious.
Pretty much. The problem with these decks is really Inkmoth Nexus. I mean, everything else in this green ramp deck is perfectly fair, but Nexus just gives it such an additional vector to interact with its opponent. Comboed with Wolf Run, that's just tough to beat.
Agreed.
So it looks like the players are just about done shuffling here for game 2. But for those of you who aren't familiar, the Ravnica Time Spiral featured the Mystical Teachings deck. That was one of the biggest decks.
I mean, Drew's mulliganing.
Yes.
Yeah, it took. It was just one of the best standard formats ever. I love that format. I mean, the thing about that format is like a lot of the cards had pretty even power level. There wasn't anything that really dominated everything else. So you could play decks from blue, red, white control with Lightning Angels and Momentary Blinks. Demon Fires. You could play Solar Flare back when it was first around. You could play green, blue, white Blink. You could play Project X combo.
Pickles.
Pickles. Mystical Teachings control.
Just a wide open metagame with a lot of great decks in it.
I mean, I can just name decks, tons more decks up
Yeah.
there. Mono red, Gruul, red black,
Yep. Just a ton of decks. Rakdos with a big deck.
blue white,
Yep.
like all kinds of cool things you could do. There's Birds of Paradise for Mark Hinsz. And Drew plays Champion of the Parish and ships the turn. So the champ is in town. 3 mana, down comes Dungrove Elder.
And that is a big one against Champion. Drew's going to have to wait a turn to attack with that Champion if he doesn't want to trade.
There's the Elite Vanguard. I think you're happy to trade, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drew just fearlessly sends that in.
And Mark takes
Daring
it.
Mark to block. I mean, you're perfectly happy to trade there, because that Dungrove Elder is going to outgrow everything else. And there's line number 3 for Mark.
So that outclasses Elite Vanguard.
Yeah, he's no longer very elite.
But he's attacking. That's surprising. He might have another one here.
Yeah, if he has another one, that attack would make sense. There's
Yeah.
number 2, yeah. And
Wow.
the Linowar Elf to top it off.
So Mark with a great start here in game 2. Exactly what he needs to fight off Drew Levin's humans. And that hexproof means that there will be no Fiend Hunters from Drew. At least on the Dungrove Elders.
Honor the Pure.
Ooh,
All right,
okay.
that'll help a little bit. That
Yep.
helps a little bit.
That lets both creatures fight in.
He's probably going to trade with Champion of the Pair.
I think so.
Well, he didn't do it last turn. Seems like now when they're bigger, Champion's going to be able to be a problem. I don't know. He just takes 6, though. Mark Hinsz going to 12. You can untap. If he plays a 4th Forest, you can serve in for 8.
Wow, and there he did draw the forest, it looks like.
The thing about this Wolf Run deck that's different from the Valakut decks is it has a secondary axis of Dungrove Elder attack you.
That card is just so powerful. I know a lot of people wrote that one off as just a junk rare, but so far it is very good.
The big difference between the two decks is Valakut was really constrained by its mana base, couldn't play cards like Linowar Elves and Birds of Paradise,
Right.
Because it had to get critical mass of mountains. This deck doesn't; it just wants a mana, and you can do that with Linowar Elf and Birds of Paradise.
Exactly. Plus, the Valakut deck did not consistently get green on turn 1. That was another big problem for it.
Right, exactly. So Mark serves in with both Dungrove Elders, and I think the Birds of Paradise there too. And Acidic Slime away the Honor of the Pure for Drew Levin.
Yeah, this game not going well for Drew right now, facing down some 4/4 hexproof Dungrove Elders
What a beating.
that are only going to get bigger.
And Drew ships back, and I think that means this game's over.
Yeah,
as soon as Drew stops attacking and loses the tempo,
Right.
it's done.
With Mark having effectively 8 copies of Primeval Titan in his deck. Oh, and there's a Wolf Run.
Oh wow, Wolf Run comes down, and there's the birds to make it do its thing.
Right.
So yeah, I think we're done here. Drew's a good man and will probably play it out to the bitter end, but we're going to be seeing Game 3 here very shortly.
Yeah. Drew's shuffling his cards up, looking for more options, but there are not going to be any to be found, and there he scoops it up.
Alex Verno on Twitter asks, how does Dungrove Green beat Mirren Crusaders? That's a good question. Drew was playing this deck primarily because of Mirren Crusader. He just thought this back card was insane for this weekend.
Right.
And he's got them in here.
And it seems to be, I mean, Mirren Crusader that game, the Dungroves would not have been able to attack. And when it was right for Drew to attack, he could. And that card would have been trouble. Trouble for Mark.
I'm really surprised Drew is only playing one Angelic Destiny, though. I know that card has been incredible for everyone who's played this deck. It's so good with... it's just so good with Mirren Crusader and like sending most of your guys to the air.
Right, I mean,
breaks
Hero
through any
Blade
stalls.
Hold makes it so that they cannot block it. You will get 2 attacks out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, even more in the sideboard. He has 1 main deck, 0 in the sideboard. It seems like a matchup like this, you might want a second, maybe even a third. Very powerful card. One interesting thing about Drew's deck is that he sort of eschewing the Sword Inkmoth Nexus plan, which I think most players were really attached to. You know, these various Blade decks, they had a lot of that action going on. Drew's deck might just be a better choice right now than any sort of Blade list.
Yeah, I really like Drew's deck here. I mean, like I said, it's been tearing up Magic Online, and it's just doing good work. And Drew is a good pilot behind it. He has to win his next 2, this game, and his next match to bring it in. But if he does, we'll see him back in the top 8 again.
Again, yeah, sort of a constant player in most any top 8, usually Legacy, but he's proven his worth in Standard too.
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the Cobblade people earlier this year that just played Cobblade nonstop, but. You know, even without the blade around, still rocking the blue-white. This time a little more beatdown bent to his game plan.
Yep, already had his Sea-Chrome Coasts and Glacial Fortresses, so figured he'd stick blue-white.
Yeah, just get the Moorland Haunts in your set, right?
Yep.
Do you think there should be a 4th Moorland Haunt, or is that too rough on the mana?
I don't know. I mean, his only blue cards in the main deck is Mana Leak. Actually, his only blue cards between main and sideboard are Mana Leak. So, really, 9 blue sources. That's a lot. I think he could support another Moorland Haunt. So looks like the player's shuffling up for game 3 here. And laying out their hands.
All right, see what we can do here for Drew and Mark.
Drew going to be on the play this game. Definitely a boon for the aggro deck. And in the tank on this one, and he keeps.
Yep, thinks for a second, and then keeps his hand.
As does Mark, it seems.
And down comes Champion of the Parish.
Not enough for Drew last game, even though it is his best turn 1 play.
Yeah, but he didn't really develop his champion last game. This game might be a different story.
Right.
Elite Vanguard, add a counter, bash.
And no gut shot from Mark.
No gut shot, and no second land for Drew.
Wow.
I had a feeling for some reason he was considering a land light hand. And that is exactly the case. Now his hand is still solid, going to be able to crash in for 4. If Drew has another human too, like another Elite Vanguard, that could be brutal.
I think he must. I think he probably has 3 or more plays to keep a 1-land hand.
I would agree with that.
But we will see. No.
Or not.
Wow. And Lanoir instantly jumps in front of Elite Vanguard, understandably.
Yeah. Oh, this keep is looking kind of sketchy by Drew.
Yep.
I probably had Leaning Arbiter or something like that.
Probably.
I don't know. I've seen people keep these 1-landers today. I just can't get behind it.
No, I mean, a random 6 cards in an aggro deck, all your cards are so similar, such similar power level that...
I might keep that hand if you were on the draw. Yeah, he's got the Arbiter right there.
Another brick.
If you were on the draw, I might consider it. But on the play, I just...
Yeah, not going to be enough. And a 4th Forest, making that a 4/4 hexproof Dungrove Elder, serves in for 4. Ooh.
Another Dungrove Elder. Who needs Primeval Titans?
Right. And I think I saw a Wolf run in Mark's hand, so this game is going to be over very fast. Yeah,
there's an Arbiter, but too little too late.
Very much so.
I mean, maybe if Drew goes like Plains and Mirror Crusader, he might have a chance.
Possibly. Those would be able to profitably block the Elder. And boom.
There's the Wolf run. And that'll run all over Drew.
Yep, Drew's on a 2-turn clock here. Might even have to double block at this point.
Yeah, if he double blocks, he trades both of his creatures for a Dungrove Elder.
Right. If he has a Mirren Crusader in his hand, I think that's his only line of play.
Yep. Just has to hope Mark doesn't have Titan or something.
Right. Hope he's holding all lands. Yep, double blocks. And Mark has a lot of good options. He can Wolf Run. He can play any spell in his deck. It's just not looking good for Drew.
Mark double blocks, or sorry, Drew double blocks. Mark should just Wolf Run that one, make sure he kills both of them. Because he's not currently killing both of them.
Right.
And I would just Wolf Run there.
Wait. Oh yeah, the Elder's a 4/4. There are 4 forests there for Mark.
He always 3 forests, doesn't he?
I think there's a 4th.
Oh, is there a forest hiding down there?
Oh,
there
and
is.
That's.
I thought you only had 5 mana. I now Primeval Titan while Drew is stuck on 2 lands.
Makes everything else that came before just irrelevant.
Bam.
And Drew draws a Fiend Hunter. Ironically, a Fiend Hunter. Not enough.
Not gonna do it.
The 1-lander did not do it for Drew Levin.
Oh man. Yeah, so Drew down and out as Mark Hinsz, another Wolf Run Ramp player, poised to make the top 8 of this tournament with another win.
Yep.
See what happens. Wolf Run Ramp